It's that time of year again where everybody has gone back to school and they've sort of settled in and things are going well, but then grades come out. And this year is particularly hard for everyone. The kids are getting used to the online format, the teachers are doing their best to teach remotely, and for the parents, so many of you feel stuck and overwhelmed, and you're just not really sure how best to help your child. Well, you're in luck. I have 3 specific things that you can do as a parent to really help your child thrive this semester. All right, so this first tip is all about your philosophy of parenting. And to explain this, I like to use the metaphor of the carpenter and the gardener. So if you think about a carpenter has 100% control over everything they do with their work. They can pick out the pieces of wood that they use, they can measure them precisely, they can shape it and polish it and smooth it and make the perfect end product. So the carpenter has complete control and they can ensure success on the outcome. However, the gardener doesn't have that. The gardener has to sort of acknowledge that no matter how hard they try, things happen. Like a storm might roll in, or a bunny rabbit might hop into your garden and munch on your veggies. So if the gardener tried to work like the carpenter, they'd drive themselves insane, trying to make sure that everything worked out perfectly. They'd stand out on their porch and scream at the storm clouds to go away, and nothing would change. The gardener really has to accept that there are certain things that are outside their control. And all they can really do is focus on providing the essential ingredients for their plants to thrive. So that's really the difference between the gardener and the carpenter. And so many parents get locked into the idea of trying to be the carpenter when it comes to raising their kids. They try to monitor everything and ensure the perfect outcome, but really, there's no way to do that, especially given everything that's going on in our world right now. So as a parent, if you can focus on just providing the basic things that your child needs to succeed and not worry about going too far over the top, that can really make a big difference. So think about, what are the basic things that my child needs to do well in school? They need the basics for survival, of course. They need support from the family. They need your care and being able to access you as a resource. But anything beyond that might be more than they actually need and might be leaning into the carpenter zone. And that leads us to our second tip. One of the ways that you can provide a basic ingredient for success is giving your children an opportunity to check in and share about how things are going. And one of the best ways to do this is just to have a regular family meal where everybody's sitting down together and everybody has a chance to just give a few updates on what life looks like for them. Now, things are going pretty slow right now, so there's probably not going to be a lot to check in on, and the temptation for you as a parent is going to be to only focus on the school stuff, because that's the stuff that feels really important. But if you can make the check-in broader than that and ask about how other things are going, like how are your friends doing? How's that art project going? Are you interested in any new video games or board games? What are you excited about over the next few weeks or months? The main point of all of this is to give your kids a platform where they can ask for their needs to be met. If they're not asking for their needs to be met and they're still having a really hard time, then there might not necessarily be something that you can do on your side as a parent. But it can feel really overwhelming if the only thing that you're bringing up is the thing that they feel really insecure about. And remember, this is a really hard school year for everyone involved, and the kids are really struggling. So if you can be a source of support rather than a source of stress, that will make a big difference for your kid. And that brings us to our third and final tip. Sometimes when we're feeling stressed out or there's a lot going on in our lives, we find a thing to focus on that feels changeable or feels controllable. So if you're sort of sitting there with work stuff and life stuff that's chaotic and overwhelming, it might be really easy to hone in on the way that your child is performing academically. And it does feel easier to change something that's going on for another person than it is to change something that's going on for us. And so in a way, you're kind of taking your anxieties out on them. It's not your fault, of course, like it's very natural and normal to do this, but it's important that you start to catch it. Try to notice those times where you're feeling overwhelmed and the only thing that you're thinking about is, how is my kid doing in school? And then if you can, Give yourself permission to focus on things that are more about you, your own goals, your own wellness, your own self-care. So again, if you're noticing yourself feeling overwhelmed and stressed and stuck with how your kid is doing in school, you want to be thinking about being more of a gardener parent, sort of accepting that you can't control everything, and just trying to provide the basic ingredients for success. You want to be offering platforms where your child is able to open up and share about the things that they're worried about, the things that they need. And then you also want to try to notice when you're getting caught up on their stuff that you want to fix when you've got your own stuff that you could be focusing on instead. We want to wish you well with the rest of the school year. Hang in there, stay strong, and remember, winter break is on its way.